Greetings to you and to your viewers. Of course, this is very early to talk about the two-state solution. There must be procedures to pave the way for that. It is so far away. We're talking about the first phase of the truce and the exchange of Palestinian prisoners for the Israeli hostages. We still have phase 2 and 3 that might be hindered by Netanyahu and the far-wing government and the financial and the Ministry of Finance, Smotrich, who is seeking the hindrance of the second and third phase. These phases will take so long, but in addition to the US cover, now we are researching mechanisms to achieve the second and third phases, providing guarantees that Israel does not violate the exchange deals, as well as researching with international and regional partners, including Egypt. Regarding the second day in the Gaza Strip, we have a long road ahead, especially in the Trump statements. He is not very initiative, is not initiating a complete political settlement for a two-state solution, as Trump has never spoke about a two-state solution since he assumed office. So we're waiting to see what Trump is thinking about and the new US administration and what's going to happen during the next week meeting between Trump and Netanyahu in the White House and his visit to Washington.
Mm-hmm. Well, can you elaborate more on Egypt's approach to rejecting settlement expansion, annexation and displacement?
Of course, the Egyptian stance is very clear. It is based on essential fundamentals. Egypt is the most country in the world that provided sacrifices for 70 years supporting the Palestinian cause. It went to 4 wars for the Palestinian cause and to maintain the security and stability in the region. And regarding the peace treaty, Egypt was proactive to provide all the entitlements for the Palestinian population. During the 11 past years, it exerted a lot of effort to settle the situation between Hamas and Israel. We provided a lot of support during the past 11 years, as the support exceeded its limit during the past 15 months on 2 levels, at the political and humanitarian and medical levels for the Palestinian population. Egypt is supporting Palestine and rejecting any Israeli attempts to kill the Palestinian cause or for any forced displacement of Palestinians or establishing new settlements in the West Bank. Egypt was very strong and bold. Yesterday was the Ministry of Foreign Affairs statement rejecting any attempts for the forced displacement of Palestinians, requesting Palestinians to hold on to their lands and territories, rejecting any kind of long-term or temporary displacement of the population based on the Egyptian policy to deal with the Palestinian cause, advising Palestinians to hold on to their land in the Gaza Strip and to stop any attempts to tamper with the national security of Egypt, and requesting all the international community to commit to the international legitimacy resolutions to establish a two-state solution and a Palestinian independent state.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Ashry, can you describe the role Egypt is playing in the humanitarian aid efforts for Gaza and also the Palestinian statehood?
Huge efforts. The international community has commended the Egyptian effort 15 months, and the Egyptian state is providing tireless efforts to provide secure the humanitarian situation in Gaza. We are providing now a line of humanitarian and medical aid to Gaza, and during the first weeks of this war, Egypt committed to evacuate foreigners from the Gaza Strip in exchange for giving access to humanitarian aid. That's why the Egyptian side is practicing the most pressure on Israel and requesting and requiring the United States to commit to securing or preventing the starvation that is now being intended in Gaza.
Well, what about the rest of the international community? What role can the international community and the UN resolutions play in supporting the Palestinian statehood and rights?
Of course, the ball now is at the UN court. The European Union as well should help provide urgent humanitarian assistance. Would intend there is need for 36,000 tents and wood houses to help the Palestinian population returning from the south to the north, build new houses, as all the houses were completely destroyed in the north. So the international community now plays an integral part in providing medical necessary assistance, as the Egyptian state has endured 80% of the humanitarian aid entered into Gaza for 15 months. This humanitarian aid and trucks must be increased. Also providing proactive health measures to help Palestinians save lives. And they should cooperate with Egypt for the Gaza reconstruction during the upcoming period. The international community shall assume its responsibility to save the Palestinian population from starvation and illnesses, and discussing the Gaza reconstruction fund during the upcoming period.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Ashry, what about the response of Ayman al-Safadi regarding the suggestion of the displacement of Palestinians? What's your take on that?
It was a very good stance by Jordan, because it's in line with the Egyptian stance, as the Jordanian will not accept this forced displacement, and all the Trump statements was faced by anger from Egypt and Jordan and the entire Arab world. The Ayman al-Safadi statements today were very strong, consistent with the Egyptian stance towards the forced displacement of Palestinians, as they are willing to maintain the Palestinian populations on their lands, on their territories. And there are discussions between the President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and the King of Jordan, King Abdullah. They have the same stance towards any attempts by Israel or any other country to displace the Palestinian population. It is a good situation by Jordan and Egypt. They have the same stance towards any attempts for displacement.
Mm-hmm. And these suggestions, do you think that they will have any sort of bearing on the Gaza ceasefire currently in place?
Of course, so far everything now is going very naturally. Some obstacles placed by Netanyahu with the excuse to release an Israeli hostage called Erbil Yahud. She was released yesterday with Egyptian and US efforts, and now there is an operation room working to stop any hindrances or obstacles that might affect the current ceasefire. So far everything is going very naturally and good, and there is a lot of demining of the obstacles placed by Netanyahu to hinder this deal of the hostage exchange. It went the same way due to the Egyptian, Qatari and US efforts to stop any attempts to mess with the current ceasefire agreement. The next Thursday and Saturday, 2 batches of Israeli hostages will be exchanged for a large number of Palestinian prisoners, which is very important and will support the ceasefire agreement. All the concerns now are that Netanyahu backs up on this deal, and this will be the problem, not continuing with phase 2 and phase 3. Here comes the US role to pressure Israel into continuing phase 2 and 3.